Hey there boys and girls, Lucky Skillflaggy here, and in the last video I talked about not having time anymore. So the obvious question is, what actually still matters when you can't grind and when you do not have time? So let's get right into it. When you lose time, you don't just lose practice. You lose energy, focus, overall playtime, and therefore consistency. So the skills that survive aren't the flashiest ones. For now, this means if you're hoping to rapidly gain insane flick shot skills and super accurate spray controls, I must disappoint you and tell you that these skills are not the primary skills to focus on when you're short on time. All these skills usually require lots of in-game experience or lots of practice in offline matches against bots or special maps like that. We are instead going to focus on the ones that forgive mistakes. Skill number 1, positioning. Our first skill to focus on is one of my all-time favorites and one that Overwatch players usually struggle with the most unless it's high ground, and that would be positioning. The reason why positioning works great if you cannot grind for skills is because positioning is decision-based and not relying on mechanical skills, which would require more practice obviously. Positioning lets you either set up a fight to your advantage or at the very least optimize your chances in a gunfight. Reasons for that are you are minimizing your hitbox and therefore making yourself hard to hit, which can make up for having worse aim, and that of course even to the point of winning the gunfight, and also you're maximizing the things that you can see. So a head glitcher will always have the advantage on someone being out in the open like a sitting duck. It'll also have some mental benefits, as in making you feel safer, which, I mean, you literally are behind cover. Because many times in a gunfight, you can start to panic and you just, oh my god, what am I doing? What should I do here and there and this? And you're not focused anymore. This, therefore, again, makes your aim worse and your decision making cannot function properly either. So it's a nice side benefit of setting up properly to minimize things so that you can actually stay calm during a gunfight. Another benefit of proper positioning is that you have to actually worry less about things in front of you and around you. Very obvious again, but the whole thing of like minimizing the angles you can be shot from while maximizing things that you can see is just so underrated when people are just trying to train their aim all day. And as you can see, these skills, or better said positioning and its benefits, they're all connected and they're all playing off each other. So good positioning turns bad aim days into playable games and otherwise shitty matches into more fun matches. Number 2, fight selection. Next up, we have another skill based on decision making, fight selection. You do not have to take every fight. Remember what I just told you about the head glitcher having the advantage over the sitting duck? If you are the sitting duck, or soon to be sitting duck, do not take this fight and reposition instead. You always want to set yourself up with an advantage so it doesn't just boil down to 100% who is more cracked mechanically. In Apex, this is a more obvious skill when thinking and choosing about which fights to take and when to third party or when to disengage from a fight, but it does apply in CS as well. In Apex, or any other battle royale for that matter, you have two main enemies here, the zone and other players. The zone is limiting your options for where to go and therefore influencing the fights you can take or even must take. Preferably here, you want to keep track of the zone so that you are not being forced into a gunfight with worse odds. And as mentioned before, you want to be the third party, fighting people that are low HP and out of resources. Now sometimes the fight hasn't started yet, in which case you want to make sure you are not in the middle, since that'll make you the most obvious target. And again, if you are in the middle already, change that. You don't want to get pincered between two enemies. Back in CS, I many times said do not commit to your spray, especially your crouch spray all the time. When you commit to a crouch spray, you become a sitting duck. When you mess up, sometimes it is better to disengage and try again while setting up another type of advantage if possible. This also means choosing the quote-unquote boring wins. Maybe you are not the one getting all the kills. Maybe you set up your teammates for an advantage so that they can get the kill. You use your resources like utility or abilities to help your mates win gunfights. This is anything from throwing a flash for your teammate to healing them depending on what game you're playing. It is another case of when you're tired and your mechanical skills might be lacking, you can fall back on some smart decisions to set yourself up for success. Number 3, consistency over peak. Now let's talk about you prioritizing consistency in your aim over peak performance. This might be a bit confusing, so let me explain. We categorized aim training mainly as a mechanical skill. Mechanical skills take time to develop and improve, especially in their raw form. However, there are still some things relating to aim that you can improve regardless. Also, I want to make clear that I'm not bashing aim trainers or aim training in any way, just simply saying that we will be shifting our focus away from the raw mechanical skills at first. You should by now have a familiar sensitivity that you are comfortable with. Many times when people feel they're not doing well, they start changing their sensitivity. When 99.9% of the time, sensitivity had zero things to do with the issues you were experiencing in-game. I will go into the whole sensitivity thing more in a future video, but for now just know that sticking with a familiar sensitivity will make you more consistent than changing and adjusting to a new one. When you feel your aim and therefore your sense is off, look for what is the actual reason instead. Familiar routes are also important. You have a certain way you like to path, or a certain place you like to drop, a favorite position on the map to hold or to push. All of these familiar spots and places will help you stay consistent, and while new experiences in this regard will help you improve, they will also make you go through an inconsistent trial and error period. So depending on what you're trying to do you either want to get good results or learn new stuff? Choose accordingly. Another obvious one, but of course changing your setup or even just your chair height can have an influence, even when they're usually on the more minor side on bridge. Now, none of these tips will make you cracked overnight, but they will keep you sharp and consistent. There will always be scenarios still when you are being out-aimed or out-skilled otherwise, but we want to make sure that these scenarios remain the exception. Also, the more you're able to set yourself up or set up things to your advantage, the clearer it'll become to what actually happened to you in-game. Were you actually out-aimed, or were you out of position like a sitting duck? When you know your positioning was solid, then you don't have to guess about the other things anymore. It helps you understand your mistakes better and makes it easier to fix them. In the long run, this will also help you understand much better whatever game you're playing. Plus, it should make your games less frustrating and therefore more fun. When time is limited, you want to make the best out of it. Win your games, still get better somehow, but most importantly, have fun when you're doing it. But I think it's pretty much all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and lucky skill faker out.